Kamala Harris did a town hall event on the Clown News Network hosted by Anderson Cooper, who, to his credit, did ask her a few legitimate questions, which, of course, she cackled in response to and dodged and lied about, like this.
Under Donald Trump, you criticized the wall more than 50 times. You called it stupid, useless, and a medieval vanity project. Is a border wall stupid?
Well, let's talk about Donald Trump and that border wall.
What is so funny about that? This woman cannot answer a single question without cackling and then spewing some word salad.
How much of that wall did he build? I think the last number I saw is about 2%. And then when it came from...
That's because you, the Democrats, blocked funding for the wall. And then when he found a workaround through, I think, Homeland Security, Department of Homeland Security, then you sued in order to stop that as well. But wait, there's more.
I mean, you did raise your hand saying in a debate when asked if border crossing should be decriminalized, but obviously that is not your...
Meaning legalize border crossers. Just allow the invaders to come in. No problem. Welcome to America.
Your position.
I never intended, nor will I ever allow America to have a border that is not secure. I believe we need to deal with illegal immigration. There needs to be consequences,
There needs to be consequences like Americans paying for them to stay in fancy 4-star hotels in Manhattan at the cost of $300 a night. Here she was during a 2019 town hall event on the Clown News Network when she was running for president in 2020, which she didn't even make it to the calendar year of 2020 because her campaign was so awful. She dropped out of the race in December of 2019. But here she is because the presidential campaigns are 2 years long these days. Here she was in 2019 talking about how much she hated building the wall.
Let me be very clear. I'm not going to vote for a wall under any circumstances. I am not for a wall. They're not jumping over walls.
Because walls prevent people from jumping over them and prevent them from invading our country.
So the idea that we're going to sell this thing to the American public and require the taxpayers of our country to pay $5 billion.
She makes it sound like $5 billion is a lot of money, but we give $5 billion of our tax dollars to Israel every year in order to help them secure their borders. And how many hundreds of billions have we given to Ukraine over the years? I lost track. Here's her response to a question from an audience member about what one of her weaknesses is, where she sounds exactly like the character Michael Scott, played by Steve Carell in the sitcom The Office.
Perhaps a weakness, some would say, but I actually think it's a strength.
Well, my weaknesses are actually strengths. Oh, yes. Very good. There you go. Very good.
I really do value having a team of very smart people around me.
I work too hard, I care too much, and sometimes I can be too invested in my job.
This one may be even better. Anderson asked her if she made any mistakes over the last 4 years. And wait for it.
Is there something you can point to in your life, political life or in your life in the last 4 years, that you think is a mistake that you have learned from?
I mean, I've made many mistakes.
Obviously.
And they range from, if you've ever parented.
There it is. There's the cackle. It's starting. Like I said, she can't answer a single question without it.
Parented a child, you make lots of mistakes too.
You're not a parent. You're a step-parent. She's not a mother. She has no children, so she doesn't know what it is to be a mother, what the responsibilities are, what the love of a mother is between their child.
In my role as vice president, I've probably worked very hard at making sure that I am well versed on issues, and I think that is very important. It's a mistake not to be well versed on an issue and feel compelled to answer a question.
What? That embarrassing performance led pollster Frank Luntz, who is a rhino and used to be the Republican Party's favorite pollster and political strategist, but he came down with stage 4 Trump derangement syndrome and now endorses Kamala. But he did admit this about her town hall.
I think that clip illustrates exactly why Harris is in trouble at this point. and it's something that I don't understand why the campaign does not address. They asked her specifically, where do you stand on the wall? And what does she do? She goes and shifts it right to Donald Trump. Immediately mentions him twice within the first 5 seconds. She still hasn't closed the deal. She still hasn't said to people exactly what she
And Frank still hasn't brushed his
would
teeth.
do. In fact, what she should have done in the opening of that town hall is said, I want to tell you what I'm going to do in the first hour, in the first day, and in the first week. And it's going to take me 5 minutes.
Okay, I'm sorry. We don't have time for this, you human cavity. You can obviously tell that Mr. Duds has given up on life and let himself go, and appears to, in my opinion, also have a little drinking problem. And he had some health problems back in 2020. He blames Donald Trump for giving him a stroke. But it wasn't just stress about what Donald Trump might do to the country or his paranoid delusions of what Donald Trump may do that he says gave him the stroke. It was something more. He published a book, I guess, in 2020 that I'm sure nobody bought, where he says, quote, I had a stroke because of Trump. I didn't have the guts to speak out enough about him, and it drove me crazy, he said. So it wasn't even just him being paranoid and stressing out about what Trump may do from watching Clown News or MSNBC. He was stressing out because he didn't have the guts to denounce him enough. But as big of a dunce as Frank Dunce is, the Democrat Party being equally as delusional and insane, they are listening to him because recently on CNN, he said that he thinks that if Kamala Harris gets Taylor Swift to come out and do a concert for Kamala Harris, that would push her over the top and she would be assured to win the election. And so now, tonight, Beyonce is going to be joining Camelface on stage in Texas.
None other than Beyonce will appear with Vice President Harris tomorrow in Texas, we're learning, and NBC's Aaron Gilchrist is covering the Harris campaign today from Georgia, where she's set to appear with Bruce Springsteen.
So this was yesterday, and she was joined on stage by Bruce Springsteen, and the Hollywood celebrities are coming out in droves to support her, including Samuel L. Jackson, who said this.
We've seen that horror show before. And there's no way, no how we gonna make America great again.
Well, certainly not if Kamala Harris wins, that's for sure.
She's running to be the 47th president of the United States. Donald Trump is running to be an American tyrant.
And while the White House Senior Living Center is keeping old Joe occupied with his favorite ice cream, Barack Obama is out on the campaign trail during these final days, trying to make the push to convince the brothers to get out and vote for her.
We do not need 4 years of a wannabe king, a wannabe dictator running around trying to punish his enemies. That's not what you need in your life.
Democrats always accusing others what they themselves are guilty of, spending the last 3.5 years to try to put Donald Trump in prison. But hey, he's the one who's going to persecute his opponents. Anderson Cooper must be seriously getting tired of the illegal aliens that he has to share his luxurious Manhattan high-rise apartment with, which are being paid for, of course, like I said, by our tax dollars, because he actually did hammer Camelface on the wall. Here he is coming back for a third round.
To fix the problem, you're doing this compromise bill. It does call for $650 million that was earmarked under Trump to actually still go to build the wall.
I am not afraid of good ideas where they occur.
So you don't think it's stupid anymore?
I think what he did and how he did it did not make much sense because he actually didn't do much of anything. I just talked about that wall, right? We just talked about it. He didn't actually.
We almost got a cackle right there. Again, Democrats were the ones who blocked that funding twice.
Do much of anything.
But you do want to build some wall.
I want to strengthen our border.
Despite stealing several of Donald Trump's policies in order to appear that she cares about America and is opposed to the invasion that her and old Joe facilitated, she still can't even admit that she wants to build the wall. Just say it with me. Build the wall.
2022, 2023, there were record border crossings. Your administration took hundreds of executive actions. It didn't stem the flow. Numbers kept going up. Finally, in 2024, just in June, 3 weeks before the first presidential debate with Joe Biden, you institute executive actions that had a dramatic impact, really shut down people crossing over. Why didn't your administration do that in 2022, 2023?
How about 2021, as soon as you guys were sworn into office?
First of all, you're exactly right, Anderson. And as of today, we have cut the flow of immigration by over half. In fact, the number.
Oh, now it's only 100,000 coming in every month instead of 200,000.
Numbers I saw most recently, illegal immigration.
But if it was that easy
on,
with that executive action, why not do it in 2022, 2023?
This is absolutely amazing. I've never seen Anderson Cooper actually appear to even pretend to be a journalist ever. Let's move on to tax cuts, shall we? I mean, surely she'll be able to at least put some coherent sentence together, right? Oh, wait, what's this?
Well, what you're saying is anyone under 400,000 won't have taxes raised. Or are you saying that anyone above 400,000 will have a tax raise?
I'm saying that there is going to be a parity around what the richest people pay in terms of their taxes. Right now, Anderson, you know, the document, it is well documented that some of the richest people in our country have gotten away with a zero tax rate.
But if you're
That is not true. They're paying income tax on their income. The reason that their taxes are lower is because corporations spend that income and then they're able to write that off as an expense to reduce their taxable income. And that's not some loophole that allows them to avoid paying taxes. That is a well-established economic law that enables businesses to grow so that they're not taxed to death.
The zero tax rate.
But if you're earning $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 under your plan, there's a good chance your taxes go up.
We can't have this conversation without knowing it's a very complicated situation, right?
It's just too complicated for the little people watching CNN to understand, Anderson. Let's move on. Barack Obama's former senior advisor, David Axelrod, had this to say about her train wreck.
When she doesn't want to answer a question, her habit is to kind of go to word salad city, and she did that on a couple of answers. One was on Israel. Anderson asked a direct question, would you be stronger on Israel than Trump? And there was a 7-minute answer, but none of it related to the question he was asking.
Van Jones, on the other hand, another black man who always puts black people first, has a very high degree, as most black people do, of in-group favoritism, couldn't find the courage to admit what really happened.
And I think the question, if you're at home trying to figure this out, you can ask, well, could she have done this? Could she have done this better? Your job isn't to do town halls. Your job is to fight for people. Does she seem like somebody who is going to take seriously the problems of ordinary people and try to get an answer?
Absolutely not, because she favors the criminal, illegal alien invaders and is trying to make us, the American taxpayers, fund them.
And I think she passed that test.
But not everybody at the Clown News Network agrees, because they must be exhausted from lying all the time.
Well, I'll just tell you what I'm hearing from people who I have been talking to, and that is that if her goal was to close the deal, they're not sure she did that. And, you know, some people have asked, is she being held to a different standard? Maybe, but that's maybe the world that she's living in.
A different standard. The standards are just too high. We just expect perfection from Kamala.
And on the question of who she is, people are understanding that a little bit more. But what she will do, the question about her legislative priorities, name one, there wasn't one. You know, some more of her personality and her sort of character questions about your weaknesses or what mistakes did you make? Not necessarily the answers there.
You could see how much it pains her to have to admit this. This isn't miraculous. Deep down inside, there used to be a journalist in her.
Now, having said all this, why aren't I 50 points ahead, you might ask? Well, the choice for working families has never been clearer. I need your help to get Donald Trump's record out to everybody. Nobody should be fooled.
This was created by a meme maker, C3P Meme, who was part of the Dilly meme team, who the New York Times wants arrested for campaign finance violations for making memes for the Trump campaign for fun. Seriously, they're not just upset about the memes. Last year, they published this article, Inside the Troll Army Waging Trump's Online Campaign, where they literally called for them to be investigated and arrested for violating supposed campaign finance laws because they're not declaring the memes as in-kind campaign contributions on financial forms with the Federal Election Commission. I'm Mark Dice. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you're new here. And if you're a regular viewer, please share links to these videos on your social media accounts and encourage other people to come and check out the channel. And subscribe because we're going to have to bypass YouTube's shadow banning and visibility filters manually. So thanks for all your support. Stay tuned, and I will see you soon.